I'm making this video for one person, and it's the one person that watches videos about business and entrepreneurship and doesn't feel good enough to be wealthy or to be successful. It's the person that either has an idea or has been thinking about something or has something moving, but they haven't moved as quickly or as much as they want because they don't feel deserving of it. I'm just coming out of our quarterly Backroom meeting. My Backroom is my mentoring group. The focus is on working with entrepreneurs who run million-dollar businesses, and we help them scale to $10 million. And today at this meeting, two people cried in the room at different times. And both of them cried because one of them cried because they opened up about the fact that even though they run a successful 7-figure business, they don't feel deserving of it growing beyond that. They talked about abuse in their past. They talked about not knowing what to do with money once it shows up. Another was an incredibly successful entrepreneur, incredibly successful, has run multiple mid 7, 8, and 9-figure businesses. Talked about how once you get to the top, once you are worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, it's then that you realize what's really important. Because money just amplifies who you already are. I am coming out of this meeting, and even my insecurities get triggered because I wonder, did I do enough? Did I give enough? Was I present enough? Did I help enough? Did I provide enough value? All of us have fundamental fears that we aren't enough and that we won't be loved or accepted because our brains are wired to help us survive, not to make us happy. We all have it. We all have that fear. The fear never goes away. The fear doesn't go away no matter how much money you make. The insecurities don't go away no matter how successful you get. We even talked about how the fact that the most successful people are usually running from some sort of insecurity that they didn't get, usually as a kid. Most people are actually operating from a deficiency that wasn't filled when they were younger, and it drives them and it makes them successful. It doesn't necessarily make them happy, but it does drive them to be successful. And so I have a theory that if every successful person is actually covering up some sort of insecurity, that if you have those, it's probably your greatest gift. It's the thing that will drive you to your success. No one is deserving of success because no one deserves to be alive. You didn't do anything to be born. You didn't do anything to have the knowledge you have. You didn't do anything to exist. You don't deserve anything. And neither does anybody else. And yet, the sun still shines on everyone. There are still people, undeserving people, who are incredibly successful, and you're no different than them. There's a quote I like that says that the world rewards the deed, not the doer. It's okay to doubt your value. It's okay to doubt your abilities. It's okay to doubt if you're good enough, if you can hack it. The difference, because everybody has that, the difference is who puts in the time, who puts in the work, and who doesn't. And that's the only thing separating you from them. A note from the future, a note from the top once you get there, it simply amplifies who you already are. Nothing really changes when you have $10 million in the bank, except that you have more fuel to do whatever it is that you want to do, or the things that you're already doing. The greatest predictor of who you will be is who you are right now, and money just makes that go faster. Money just makes it faster, bigger, and accelerated. So if you've struggled with that feeling of not being deserving of success, you're in good company with pretty much every successful person ever. There is, and the difference is just whether you do it or not. And what I hope that you get out of this is the simple fact that you are just as good, you are just as deserving or undeserving, because that's a perception in your brain, as everyone who has been way more successful than you. There was someone in the room today who ran a $100 million a year business, and he was wearing a black shirt and jeans, and no one in the room knew the difference between him and the guy who ran a $25 million a year business, the guy who was acquiring a $30 million business, and the girl who was just getting started in her journey. That was all in the room, and no one knew who was who. At our core, we're all really the same. There really isn't a difference between someone running a $1 billion company and someone who is not successful at all. In fact, I would be willing to bet that Elon Musk has a whole lot of insecurities that continue to drive him. And I'm very, very thankful that he is continuing to be driven forward. I don't envy whatever pain he goes through. I don't envy whatever insecurities he has. We tend to feel our own insecurities and see other people's strengths. And as a result, we think we're the only people with them. So if you're waiting to feel deserving before you get the thing, I'm here to tell you that that probably doesn't go away. So do it anyway. Move forward anyway. Succeed anyway. You can always give it all away later. But you are already just as good as the guy or the girl who has everything that you want to have, and they feel just as insecure, just as unworthy, just as doubtful. They worry about if they're on the right path, and none of that changes once you're successful. Sometimes it just gets louder. So this is good practice for you to move forward in spite of that insecurity, in spite of that fear. So this is for the guy or the girl who wants something and doesn't feel deserving of it, or doubts themselves, doubts if they know enough, doubts if they've got what it takes. We're all the same at our core. It's just a matter of who puts in the work and who puts in the habits and who puts in the time. So at that point, it's simply a choice. At that point, it is simply a choice of if you're going to go in and do the work and feel the fear and keep going anyway, or not. And either one's fine. The universe doesn't care. Most of your friends and family probably don't care. It's simply a matter of choice. So if you choose to pursue that, it won't make you any more valuable, any less valuable either way. It will simply be a set of results that came from habits that you chose to practice. You are already deserving and undeserving enough to have whatever life and whatever result you want, as is everybody else. So it might as well be